It's a new day in the shop. I've got everything out. I've got to do some cleaning on the firewall. It don't look bad, but I got to do all this cleaning on that. So today I'm going to start putting some things back. Like this hole right here where the clutch master cylinder went. I'm going to take this plate and it goes and covers up that hole. This is a factory Mopar part. I'm also going to come inside. I don't have a gas pedal or a brake pedal, so I'm going to go ahead and put those back in. The brake pedal and gas pedal is over here. So here's the brake pedal and clutch that I took out, and the gas pedal. I will put this in. It mounts just like this in the original spot with those two holes. And then the gas pedal out of the Jeep Cherokee. It's drive-by-wire, it's all electronic. It will bolt right here. So all that's going to go back in there. I will put this back in there. I'm going to paint it up a little bit, get the rust off of it. It's not in bad shape. It's about what that one looks like. So I'll get it bolted back in as well. So that's what I'm doing today, is just trying to get everything back in, close up some holes so I can take this out in the yard and pressure wash that firewall and get some things cleaned up. All right, so there's the gas pedal. It's in. You can see the bracket back there. I don't have a video of putting it in, mainly because I don't have good lighting, and it's not real exciting to see me contort and try to fit in this area to get it in. So there it is. Now I'm going to start working on the brake pedal. All right, so there it is. Brake pedal and gas pedal installed with the Teraflex bracket to hold the gas pedal on right there. I got in the seat. The gas pedal feels very comfortable. It's I can't really tell any difference between that and the one that was originally in here. So also got this plate here mounted on. Like I said, that's a factory part. So that closes off the hole where the clutch master cylinder went. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find something to close up that hole. That's where the throttle cable went through. And next thing I'm going to do is this steering bracket right here. So I've got a bracket made by Holley Performance. You just take these two bolts out, take these bolts out, remove this piece and replace it, and it brings that steering column closer this way, so it'll clear the exhaust on the Hemi. Alright, so I'll show you what I'm replacing here. Let me get this out of the bag and find a good spot. We'll just go right here to the floor. So this moves it about that far. Not a whole lot, but just enough to clear the exhaust when I put it on there. And it looks like it raises it up some as well. Nope, it doesn't. It lowers it down and moves it over just a little bit. So we'll toss this piece, set you back up so you can watch. I'm going to try and get this piece back in there. Now all I have to do is I have to find some bolts to put here and here that'll bolt this on. The piece that came off, the bracket that came off had studs in it. This one doesn't have studs. It comes with a couple of bolts. We'll put those on, and that's all you have to do to that. So it was just those two bolts there, and then these two bolt holes, one here and one there. And that, like I said, that shifted the steering shaft over to the driver's side just enough to clear the exhaust. All right, so I got those bolts in. Right there they are, top and bottom. Next thing I need to do is make this thing irreversible. So I have to cut this motor mount off right about here. I have to cut this one off right about here. I think it is 2 1/4 or 2 3/4. I have to look it up again on this side, and like 1 3/4, 1 7/8 on this side. So it's a little bit different on each side. We need to cut those exactly right because this lower area down here, after I cut it off, that will be welded along with up in here and on the back side and everywhere else for the new motor mounts. The hole that these things locate off of is right here and right here. Those are factory threaded holes. It just sits right down on top of it. And we'll have to kind of loosely put in the motor mount, set the engine in, put the belly pan back on, and kind of get it lined up. I think on LJs and TJs, the transmission is slightly shifted to the left a little bit for front drive shaft clearance. So that's what we'll do. We'll start measuring these up and get those cut off. So the passenger side here is a little bit different. They're saying it is 1 7/8 inches from this hole. So I'm gonna put it on about 5. 1 7/8 inches will be right here. So we'll cut right across the edge of that hole. That's 1 7/8 inches, 5 inches, so 6 7/8, right where that mark is. So 1 7/8 inches on this side, 2 1/4 on the other side. All right, so I've got them taped up. The tape is going to serve as a straight line down the sides and everything else. I will just follow that line there, and I've got this side taped up as well to follow that line, just like that. All right, let's go to cutting. I'm going to cut it right across that tape. I'm going to try it with the grinder, the cutoff wheel first. If this doesn't work, then I'll swap over to the Sawzall. Swap over, cut the other side. And there we go. Both sides are cut off right on my mark. Let's grab the motor mounts and see what they look like. All right, let's see how close we got. Looks like we got pretty close under there. Move you around so you can see the other side. All right, so it looks like we're down against the frame there. Looks like we got room to get in here and do some welding. Might have to touch that up just a little bit. This one seems like it can go in a little bit further, so I have to do some grinding on it. Of course, I've only got as much as that'll let me do. But that's it. The motor mounts Looks like they're gonna work just fine. All right, back at it again in the shop today. So I got these mounts and all bolted in. So now I need to take the bolts back out. I need to trim just a little bit. You can see that I have gaps here, so I need to adjust those out. And while I've got them off, I'll go ahead and sand all the paint or the black off of it so I can weld those in. And then we're gonna try and get this motor in today, set it on those mounts and get those tacked in. All right, so I did a little prep work. This is what we're putting in. I went ahead and put the transmission all on it. I still have to get a different tail housing for the transmission. But let's see if we can shoehorn this into that. All right, here we go. Let me get this lifted up on the hoist. We'll see if we can get it in there. All right, it's sitting down in the motor mounts and I got the jack supporting the transmission. Really and truly, the chains are still supporting everything. All right, I got one bolt in for the motor mount. I got a small bolt in this side just to hold it in place. All right, so far so good. We've got bolts in both sides. So I got the transmission supported by a floor jack, actually the off-road jack. So I'm gonna let the pressure off of the hoist. We'll see what she looks like, start looking for clearances. All right, so the motor's in. I've got everything placed where I want it. It looks like it's in a good spot. I like where the transfer case and the transmission is going to end up. So what I have to do now is, since I've prepped all the motor mounts and everything else, I'm going to go ahead and tack it in real good, and then we'll pull the motor back out again and I'll weld it in permanent. All right, that'll do it for now. It's tacked in, so we'll pull the engine back out and I'll go ahead and make it permanent. All right, got it all marked up. Got it tacked in. Pull it back out again. All right, I'll just leave it hanging right here while I go in and weld all this up. Not a lot of excitement in welding it up. We'll show a little bit of it, but we're mostly just gonna go to welding. Done. Let that cool down a little bit. We'll get some paint on there. All right, guys, so still working on the LJ. You've seen a lot of stuff that I've done getting the motor in and out. So that's it for this week. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out. So thank you for watching.